Student-led services are held on the third Sunday of each month at 10:30 a.m. Our service today takes up the theme of thresholds, our title being At the Cusp, Sailing Through This to That. This time of year in this northern hemisphere sees us moving towards newness, towards potency, towards the doors of spring, literally at its threshold. The days grow longer, not shorter. We also see ourselves having recently passed Imbolc, at the very beginning of Lent, and approaching Mahashivratri and Ramzan, all holy days and seasons which bring attention to thin times and places, attention to transformation in process. We welcome you all, and all of you is welcome to sit, listen, reflect with, and interact with us on the thresholds of our life, through music, poetry, exhibition, and activity. Thank you all for being with us today, and now my colleague Jazz will lead us in an invocation. Jazz, you have to unmute. Sorry.
Yeah. This is now time. Moments of being and becoming, flowing between past and possibility as we sing and dance our lives on this earth turning in space. May we open into this sacred time, this sacred space, and this sacred circle. I'm taking out my drum as a way to honor and invite in the spirits that surround us, seen and unseen. And I ask you to open yourselves to all of the benevolent presences that will join us today and bless us. We invite all benevolent spirits to be present with us now. We honor you and ask for your blessing on this circle and on our lives. Spirits of the east, of inception, the hawk of dawn soaring in the clear open air. Spirits of the south, of strength, the great elk running, and the inner fires of the sun. Spirits of the west, of harvesting, the great salmon of wisdom who dwells in the sacred waters of the pool. Spirits of north, of darkness, rest, renewal, and mystery, the great bear of the starry heavens and the sustaining earth. Spirits of the earth, all beings seen and unseen, who weave together the web of life in which we thrive. Spirits of sky, all beings seen and unseen, who surround us all in this womb space of being. And spirit of life, energizing and inspiring. We ask that we be blessed, loved, and present here together today in this gathering circle.
Thank you so much, Jazz, for that. So this morning, we're inviting all of you to join us in the anticipation of springtime, the threshold that we're about to cross together, standing on new life and growth. To help situate us in the sense of this time, I'd like to offer a piece from Karen Culpepper entitled Imbolc. As we know, Imbolc is that halfway point between the winter solstice and the vernal equinox. We just experienced this a few weeks ago. So it's heralding the return of the warming light, which I see right now, the New Mexico sky kind of blazing. And it's bringing us new energy and creative forces. So I'd like you to be invited to just kind of settle into your space. If you'd like to close your eyes, you may, and listen to the words of Karen Culpepper, who's invoking kind of the energy of this time. And she says, "Together, let us move from a space of restoration to a place of connection, celebration, and exploration. Now is the time to begin to flesh out our insights after a time of deep recuperation. We trust the knowing and divine intelligence of Mother Earth, and soon we will sync ourselves with the energy of initiation and reinvention. We must lean into the resilient practices of our ancestors to help us germinate our creative seeds. In alignment with the spirits of our plantcestors, soon we will begin to access our potential energy and utilize that momentum to push through any obstacles around us to reach the light at the surface. We must bring our personal gifts, purpose, and knowing forward. It's time to get to work with peace in the spirit, a compassionate heart. Combine your ideas and hopes with the collective initiation of discovery and open paths."
I'd like to share a song with you today. It's a song some of you may be familiar with, others may not. It's called Blue Boat Home by Peter Mayer. And to me, and I hope to you, it is a capturing of the spirit of our travels together as community on this boat we call Earth, floating along in space. So as we listen to the song, I just invite you to take some time looking at the people who are gathered here today in this circle of connection, and enjoy the music and lyrics, and feel free to hum along if you're on mute.
Low below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Blue boat
Thank you for bringing that piece to us, Jazz. I love it, and it wasn't familiar to me. Now it's in my repertoire, so happy. So in a moment, ship's companions, Ryan is going to be leading us in a shared activity. And it's calling us to really reflect on the thresholds that we're each standing upon at this time. In his book, To Bless the Space Between Us, John O'Donohue offers thoughts on the concept of thresholds, and he helps us to begin thinking about this theme in our own lives at this time. And I'll just share a short excerpt. At any time, you can ask yourself, at which threshold am I now standing? At this time in my life, what am I leaving? Where am I about to enter? What is preventing me from crossing my next threshold? What gift might enable me to do so? A threshold is not a simple boundary. It's a frontier that divides two different territories, rhythms and atmospheres. Indeed, it's a lovely testimony to the fullness and integrity of an experience or stage of life that intensifies toward the end into a real frontier that cannot be crossed without the heart being passionately engaged and woken up. At this threshold, a great complexity of emotions comes alive: confusion, fear, excitement, sadness, and hope. This is one of the reasons that such vital crossings were always clothed in ritual. It is wise in your own life to be able to recognize and acknowledge the key thresholds, to take your time to feel all the varieties of presence that accrue there, to listen inward with complete attention until you hear the inner voice calling you forward. The time has come to cross.
So as Stephanie said, I'm going to be leading us in a group activity in a few minutes. And to sort of move into that, a chance for interaction with the screen, and perhaps interaction with each other, I just wanted to offer a couple of words based on some recent experiences I've had, especially as it relates to our theme today, threshold. Um, this morning I was walking from the kitchen into the dining room, and I, for a minute, stopped and said to myself, "What the hell am I doing here?" I found myself in a brand new room, and I could not, for the life of me, remembered what I was doing. I laughed, and then I thought of a couple of my favorite lines from Dante, Dante's Inferno. In one of the translations I have, one of the opening stanza, and one that follows it goes like this. Midway in the journey of our life, I came to myself in a dark wood, for the straight way was lost. How I came there I cannot really tell. I was so full of sleep when I forsook the one true way. Just moments before, I had been washing a pan in the kitchen from last night's dinner, and I poured myself a cup of coffee, and I had straightened up the kitchen a little bit, and then I was heading somewhere. I just wonder, has that ever happened to you? You find yourself in some new room in your house and you have no idea why you're there. Well, it turns out that this is actually a very common experience, common occurrence among human beings. In a recent 2023 BBC article in Science Focus, cognitive neuroscientist Christian Jarrett explains what psychologists call the doorway effect. The findings are fascinating, and in short, there's three things. Our memory is episodic. Consequently, our memory recall is hampered from one episode to the next. And here's the intriguing part, especially for me. Walking into a new space creates an event boundary. So the physical space, a new environmental context, is more likely to impact memory. So walking from a kitchen into the dining room and not remembering where the hell I was going is actually pretty common because I had crossed a threshold. I had had a boundary effect. I had had an event boundary. So this doorway effect can make itself known in human life, in our life, as Dante says, physically from one environmental context to the next, and sometimes, momentarily, but also sometimes episodically, like our lives. Our lives could be broken into episodes, and sometimes we find ourselves in the middle of a doorway. And in order to be aware, in order to stay mindful of where we're heading and where we're moving, it's a really good thing to name the fact that you're in a threshold. In her book, The Soul's Slow Ripening, Christine Walters-Paintner has written a chapter on thresholds and talks a little bit about the Celtic context for thresholds, that these are liminal spaces, that these are thin spaces. And moving into a sacred space, especially in Celtic culture, there's usually big stone markers. And today I want to invite us to kind of create markers for ourselves today. We're going to invite you all to join us in naming some thresholds that you might be in at this moment. We'll have a chance to create a word cloud together. And I'm going to hop into the chat, sort of some cut and pasted directions. I've tried to make them very, very simple. But if it, but even when it's simple, it might not be so easy to move your cursor around and things, depending, especially if you're on a laptop or a mobile device or something like that. So if you can't click the link in the chat and join us on a website, then feel free to send me, Jazz, or Stephanie, your responses to our prompts, and we'll go ahead and put them in the website for you. So what we're going to do again is I'm going to share some instructions with you in the chat. We're going to think about thresholds in our life. Maybe you get a chance to name what threshold you're at. You get a chance to maybe articulate what might be in the way for you, what hurdle might be in your way at that threshold. And then a third question, which is what quality gift would enable me to cross that threshold? Those instructions, those prompts are going to be in the chat. They'll also be at the website that you'll go to. So we just invite you to take a few minutes. And a good friend of mine reminds me that at least that human beings are 76% more likely to work through a goal or a direction, a heading, if we name things out loud. That we're 76% more likely to see it and move through it. So invite you all to join us. I'm going to drop again the instructions here in the chat. I'm going to play some music for you. Make sure I get it to everybody here in the chat. Let's see. Everyone. Okay, here we go. So here's a screenshot. I'm going to drop that right in the chat. Let's see if I can do this right. Yeah, practiced it. But here it is. Okay. Oh, Lisa, the transfer of the PNG files is restricted. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was going to happen. You know what I'll do? Let me try it one more time. Is that something you can remove, Lisa? The transferring of the PNG files? Can you give me that access?
I actually don't know that we can.
Okay, great.
But can you copy and paste the contents of the PNG in?
I sure am going to try. Yeah. Or you know what I'll do? I'll share my screen. I'll share this screen.
That's what I was going to suggest.
Yeah, great idea. Thanks. Sorry for the little what do you call it? Technical difficulty here. Okay. All right. Can everybody see that? Yeah, good. Thank you. Okay. So, a couple instructions. I'll leave this up for a second. Again, the questions are going to be at that website. Definitely write down that code. I'll give you about 10 more seconds just to familiarize yourself with the instructions. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna play a little bit of music here, and I'm gonna invite you all to go to that website, spend a little bit of time with yourself, and then join us in a conversation after. You're all welcome to share more thresholds too if they occur to you. We have a number of things popping up already. I'm loving all the variety. So much variety. And several words becoming themes. We have about 20 more seconds. Awesome. Thank you so much for contributing. Look at that. There's so many things there. And I really happy that this is happening this way. I wanted to maybe just invite us into about, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes of conversation with one another about, I don't know, what we might be seeing, what might be arising for us here, looking at the word cloud, or perhaps as you were going through the activity, what was that activity like for you? We're gonna do it sort of very popcorn style. Unless I see some hands, I'm gonna try to make it so I can see everybody here. So, but we just welcome you into conversation. It'd be nice to hear other voices. So.
I can start, Ryan.
Okay.
So I'm amazed to see all these, and I can relate to so many of them. It's amazing. So my 3 words were calling, overwhelm, and discernment. And the calling issue is more about my current work situation and having different potential opportunities, feeling the need to cross over into something new, but being very overwhelmed by all of the different scenarios and different things that could happen depending on the choices, and also overwhelmed with the thought of, do I stay in New Mexico? Do I go back to Maine sometime in the future? And then the quality that I really need to deal with that overwhelm is discernment. And that's always a struggle for me. So I know my prayer to Source right now is to, help me to kind of calm and settle so that I can think clearly, I can discern. Yeah, so this was really helpful. And I see so many of these other folks thinking about some of the same things. So it's really beautiful, this collage that was created. Thank you.
Feel free to jump in. Tina.
Um, yeah, I feel the same, in sort of the same way. I just wanted to say that I look at these words and I find such commonality in them with us as a group of, in this program. A lot of us have um, almost similar thresholds as well as hurdles of past wounds and things like that. And I just find that overall, it's always about the connectiveness of people. And I just find that to be quite remarkable that we are all seeking that in our own way in some manner. And so I just wanted to add, that's what I look at. And that how fear and shame and all those sorts of things seem to be things that are, all those negative emotions that we as humans face and encounter and try to overcome. So interesting. Thank you for that. Very, very eye-opening. Thank you.
Molly Keene.
I thank you so much for this whole experience and for this activity. And one thing I just wanted to name was I was loving the link between my own individual experience and then seeing the groups. And I kept seeing when people were adding, flipping as the biggest one, faith and fear, and faith and fear and faith. And I know it gets bigger the more people who say it. And that was such a beautiful mirror for what my own continual process is moving from faith to fear to faith to fear. And so there was such a thread of connection with you all seeing that. And so I so deeply appreciated that. And then the other ideas of what I need to move through the hurdle, and reminding me of things like solitude. I'm like, oh yeah, that me too. And so yeah, the whole process was really rewarding and meaningful. So thank you.
Faith, did you have your hand up? Is Faith with us? I saw her hand up, maybe.
She's muted. She's
muted.
Faith,
I'm sorry.
Hi. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yes, I did have my hand up. I was going to say that the question I had, Molly answered. I have never seen one of these, I don't know even what word cloud, is that what you called it? I've never seen one of these before. And so my question was going to be, is the size of the font or the color, is there in relation to how many responses came to it? Because, fear is right at the center there and it's bigger than everything else. And so I wondered if that is because it had the most responses. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the words get bigger the more, the more the more people use that word, they get bigger. The color, I don't know. I don't know that there's a logic to the color. I was trying to decipher that myself yesterday, but then I forgot to decipher it more. We have a couple more minutes if other folks want to share.
I'll just jump in and say thank you, Ryan, for this idea and for the experience. Our little facilitation group has tried this several times together, and I will tell you that every time it moves me so deeply, and makes me feel so much less alone on my journey. And I'm really grateful for the people who shared and for those who are sharing in their hearts, and not in out loud words. So thank you.
Great. Yeah, I'll take it down now.
I'm still taking that in, and I know I need to move along, but I would love to sit with that for a lot longer. We're gonna share with you right now. It's a piece of a longer piece, a video a video poem, co-created actually by around 500 people. It is called Murmurations, and some of you may know that a murmuration is a I'm not going to define it very well, but it's associated with birds and how they and it's a great mystery, um, how it is that they fly together and shift and change in these absolutely magnificent and mysterious and inspiring patterns. And this poem is called Murmurations, and I am going to share my screen and keep my fingers crossed that it will not be interrupted by any commercials, uh, despite my best efforts. So I invite you to just settle into this for a few moments.
April high tide hurls driftwood, oarweed, sea glass, a wreckage of shells. Tomorrow comes soon. How much would you pay to hear the sound of rain or birdsong? What if couldn't care less, cared more, and we let the murmur of change change our ways? Hear the roots of trees whispering, dark soils, cavernous memories, tectonic plates shift, sit like a mountain, all weathers in our hearts. What if all our flutterings become feathers? The starlings lend us their wings, till we trust enough to fly together, synchronized, one vast voice, all different, all the same, to mend our wounded earth. Ballads of continents crossed, comrades lost to storm or predator, the shockwave moving through the flock. See how we flit, twist, swell, dive, commingle, coexist, co-inhere, belong together here. Imagine we're made of those slivers of sky, know all the colours of light, can hitch a ride on the bee's flight, go to earth with badgers small as Alice, catch the worm, the keys of the ash, rise like a dandelion, the promise of a peony bud, where heather meets heaven, home. This is the patience of the albatross, a cormorant's hunger, craning for a flash of silver beneath the water, the good omen of a crescent moon, milky stars set in new stories, meadow orchids, skeins of geese, a chance to constellate honesty, justice, escape heroic fantasies, gravity's boots. So what ifs rubbed out and becomes what is, the path between, then we can hear the hiss of rain. What is more than the ear can hear or eye see? We will never have this time again, can never rewind this moment. All the maybes, all the sing up, gentle, curious, and let pass. Fruit in season, the secret language of earth, underland of coal, uranium, oil, indifference banished by love, power to the parliament of rooks. It's just this, us, the people, our footsteps walking into all this wonder, every day, every weather, solidarity, planets rage, making a stand for a different future. It's just this, our words, building this home we share, these bridges, nowhere else to go. Here we are, turning over this tainted page to start again, and healing the earth heals us. Our better place, not a destination, a method, common ground. Ask, what if words could fly, and this poem rose into the blueness, a whir of black italic wings, breath by breath, a prayer, to give life back to life, all of us, pieces of the world. What if all the time we were searching the sky, the birds were watching for us? What if not cartwheeling? What if not care? What if not a cadence, like love held lightly?
Maybe live into that possibility together and in each of our lives. As we come to the closing of our circle, I'd like to take a moment to thank the spirits who have been with us today, to thank all of you. To the spirits above us, may you inspire us. We thank you. To the spirits below us, may you sustain us. We thank you. To the spirits behind us, may you protect us. We thank you. To the spirits before us, may you guide us. We thank you. To the spirits to the left of us, may you purify us. We thank you. To the spirits to the right of us, may you strengthen us. We thank you. And to the within, the All Spirit, may you remember us. And we'd like to invite you now to take some quiet moments and just be with the experience of a piece of music that Ryan will share with us now as we come to the end of our time together.
You're on mute, Jazz. Sorry.
I did it again. And we offer this to you, a final blessing called The Blessing of the Boats by Louise Clifton. And boy, I am just having the technical issues today. And before I play this, I'd like to invite everyone who wishes to stay for a few minutes after the service, after the poem. If you want to chat and visit, we would welcome that. And we bless you all.
My name is Elizabeth Acevedo. I'm a writer and poet, and today I'll be sharing a poem by Miss Lucille Clifton entitled Blessing the Boats at St. Mary's. May the tide that is entering even now, the lip of our understanding, carry you out beyond the face of fear. May you kiss the wind, then turn from it, certain that it will love your back. May you open your eyes to water, water waving forever, and may you in your innocence sail through this to that.
Thank you all for being with us here today. We bless you and wish you wonder and joy and health and happiness and ease.